Things just took a major turn as there have been two big injuries at New York Jets training camp. Aaron Glenn's not worried, but we're going to explain exactly how these injuries impact the New York Jets preseason and regular season after it. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. Before we hop into the video for today, only 39.8% of viewers are subscribed. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. Hopping into the video that we have for today, one of the injured players is going to be our new rookie second-round pick tight end, Mason Taylor. Coming out of Fox Sports, Florham Park, NJ, according to the Associated Press, New York Jets rookie tight end Mason Taylor has a high ankle sprain that will keep him sidelined for at least a week. Taylor, a second-round pick out of LSU, had been one of the bright spots on offense for the Jets during the first 2 weeks of training camp. The son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Jason Taylor didn't practice Monday or Tuesday after a day off Sunday. High ankle sprains often take several weeks to heal, but coach Aaron Glenn, who announced the nature of the injury after practice on Tuesday, does not believe Taylor's progress will be hampered by missing some practice time this summer. So, we got an injury to our tight end, our starting tight end, who we are very excited about. This is impactful to the offense because we don't have a wide receiver 2 behind Garrett Wilson. Yes, we have Josh Reynolds, but how much do you really trust Josh Reynolds? We are looking for an upgrade in the pass catching department, and we do still think we have a very good one here in Mason Taylor. So if Aaron Glenn is not super worried about the high ankle sprain, then we really shouldn't be either. Going what Aaron Glenn said, he said he has the pedigree of being an NFL player because of his dad. I think he's going to be just fine. I'm not worried about that player at all. These are words about Mason Taylor. So like I said before, if Aaron Glenn is not worried about Mason Taylor's injury, we really do not need to worry at all about Mason Taylor's injury. But moving on to our next injury, backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor is also injured. Now, people may be thinking more about Tyrod Taylor today because we know over the last 3 practices, Justin Fields hasn't performed very well, but I'd say just let him work out some of the kinks of joining a new offense. So do not worry too much about Justin Fields' bad play over the past 3 practices. It's getting a little bit overblown. I mean, what did you really expect out of Justin Fields? But backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor has a knee injury that is being evaluated. The 36-year-old Taylor is expected to back up starter Justin Fields this season. It was a busy day for trainers who had to handle a few other injuries at practice as the Jets prepare for their season opener at Green Bay on Saturday. Defensive tackle Byron Cowart injured an ankle during individual drills and rode the cart in the passenger seat from the field into the facility. Rookie cornerback Azariah Thomas injured his right shoulder when he fell on it trying to break up a pass. Thomas was a third-round pick out of Florida State and is expected to have a role this season. Edge rusher Will McDonald had back spasms during individual drills and sat out the rest of practice. So, 2 things are going on. 1, a lot of people are being injured. 2, the New York Jets coaching staff is being very, very careful with these injuries. If it was in the regular season, these guys, or some of these guys, would not be missing any time. They're being held out because it is a precautionary measure. So do not worry too much about these guys being injured. Backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor out for today, but we can assume currently the news is that he is going to be okay as well. None of these injuries, also the Byron Cowart, Azariah Thomas, Will McDonald, all this stuff, these guys are being held out for just safety reasons. We don't want any of these injuries to linger into when the games actually matter. Yes, we want our young up-and-coming guys like Will McDonald, like Azariah Thomas, to get as many reps in the preseason as possible. But if they are injured, if they're playing injured and they further exaggerate those injuries, that is absolutely not what we want to see. So we want to make sure that guys are staying healthy. And another guy that the New York Jets are playing it safe with is Quinnen Williams, our star defensive tackle. Wasn't at camp last week, isn't at camp again this week. Quinnen Williams is also dealing with an injury that started last week. This is the most, the scariest injury because, first of all, Quinnen Williams is, of course, the best player who is currently injured on the New York Jets. Also, he has a 2-week injury aside, and that's obviously longer than the 1 week that, did I say 2-year injury? 2-week injury for Quinnen Williams, longer than the 1 week injury of Mason Taylor. But these guys got to get healthy. We know this year Aaron Glenn is leading practices that are more physical than they have been in the past. We know Robert Saleh, they ran some lighter practices, and we saw it week 1 of the season. Nobody could tackle against the San Francisco 49ers. So we cannot be taking it easy in the offseason. Yes, guys are getting hurt, but that's just football. It's unfortunate. Like, when you're playing a game that is as physical as football is, people are going to get hurt. But just like the Mason Taylor injury, Aaron Glenn is also not extremely afraid of Tyrod Taylor's injury. Glenn added that the knee issue is not expected to keep Taylor sidelined for long. He said, "I don't see it as a long-term thing, but I don't want to just stamp that right now, but I am sure it is not." So Aaron Glenn absolutely doing what he does, just calming the media down. The New York media is always looking for a reason to, I don't want to say overhype stuff, but they're always looking for a story, which every good media outlet should be looking for a story. But when it comes to the New York Jets and just New York sports media in general, they're extra aggressive when it comes to trying to find a story. But there isn't a huge story here. It is important that we are keeping appraised of these injuries that are happening. Just understanding that these guys are a little bit banged up and which parts of their bodies are banged up. What this basically does is, going into the season, if it's week 2 or week 3 and we hear one of these guys re-injures themselves and it's one of these injuries that I've just listed off in this video, then you can start to worry and you can think, is this going to be a reoccurring thing? If it's Azariah Thomas and he hurts his shoulder again, is he going to be, is his shoulder going to cost him development early? We see it all the time. Some guys just cannot get healthy. Some people get injured earlier in their career and just don't bounce back, or it takes them a long time to bounce back. Sometimes they bounce back on another team. The guys we want them working out for the New York Jets. You have to make sure we are playing safe when it comes to these injuries. That's why Aaron Glenn is doing the exact right thing, holding these players out of camp, especially looking at the players that it is. Tyrod Taylor doesn't need a whole lot of practice reps. He's not going to be our starting quarterback, and he's a long-term veteran, so he has had a ton of snaps in the NFL, real game snaps or practice snaps. The dude knows what he's doing when it comes to being a quarterback. Also, Azariah Thomas, yes, he's a rookie, but he's playing a position that we are very well off at. We have Brandon Stevens for the cornerback 2 position. We have Sauce Gardner for 1, and then our nickel corner in Michael Carter II. Almost forgot his name, but the point is, we don't need Azariah Thomas to start immediately as well. Mason Taylor, we kind of do need him to start. Hopefully this sprained ankle is not too big of a deal, but according to Aaron Glenn, just relax. The New York Jets are going to be just fine. It's just precautionary that these guys are being held out. But that's what I got for this video. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and go Jets.